Good afternoon, everyone, and good morning to our Australian attendees. We'd like to welcome you to our July What's in the Suite webinar, brought to you by Fusion 5 and NetSuite. I'm Jess Mason, Senior Partnership Marketing Lead at Fusion 5, and I'll be your moderator for today. This month's topic is about discovering your business blind spots, that feeling you get when you don't have real-time view or visibility into the state of your operations. These blind spots lead you to make decisions based on incomplete information and can appear anywhere in your company's ecosystem, and typically does lead to a loss of revenue or profitability. Joining us online today, I'm pleased to bring you the following speakers. We've got Lisa Nix, GM Sales Fusion 5, Antonio Stanley, Solutions Architect of NetSuite, and Renee Jordan, our Finance Manager of Harcourts, Cooper and Company. Welcome, everybody, and thank you for joining us today. Before I formally go into the presentation, I just want to kick off some quick webinar housekeeping rules. The webcams will be off during the webinar, so please remember to keep yourself on mute. But you are more than welcome to drop us your questions in the chat section, and our speakers will definitely address them, time dependent, of course. There will be a quick poll at the end, and we would really appreciate your input on how we can improve on our content and the webinar series. A recording of today's webinar is going to be sent to all registrants in a week's time, so be sure to look out for that in your inbox. And lastly, if you aren't already following us, please follow us on LinkedIn at Fusion 5 for our upcoming webinars and information, or you can find us online at www.fusion5.co.nz or .com.au for our Australian registrants. Now, without further ado, I would like to open up the presentation to Lisa Nix. Lisa, over to you.
Thank you very much, Jess, and welcome to this event hosted by Fusion 5. My name's Lisa Nix. I'm the General Manager of Sales, and I've got a background of 30 years of engaging with customers around business applications and successful outcomes. As GM of Sales, I look after about 450 customers in New Zealand, so Fusion 5's got a lot of experience with this topic of helping businesses. What we do is focus on business applications. We're really proud of the fact that we've been supporting applications, taking them to the cloud, digital transformations, and with NetSuite, we've been working with organizations for over 10 years. We've got over 200 customers across Australia and New Zealand, and significantly been awarded the NetSuite Partner of the Year for Australia and New Zealand, and also Japan Asia Pacific from NetSuite for 5 years in a row. Outside of business applications, we're focusing on innovation and integration. So we're solution architects, we're solutionists. It's our job to look at the right solution, bring in the integration, what do you need to keep, and work with particular partners or ISVs to have a cohesive end-to-end solution for you. And then underneath all of the applications, we provide managed services, and that could be technically from your hardware, your network, your Azure, right through to endpoint and cybersecurity. So focusing on today, the key topic is about business blind spots. So as I said, we talk to a lot of customers and we see these core root causes and symptoms again and again. What comes from organizations when they can't visualize, they can't get access to the right information? They come from a myriad of different disparate systems. They might have a manufacturing system, a finance system, a CRM system, a different commerce portal, a different CRM system or stakeholder management system. There could be a different warehousing solution. All of these systems being disparate means that there's different master data. There's not a cohesive solution hanging together. So the end users within the organizations need to take information, double handle, duplication of data, and there's huge high risk of systems having error-prone reporting information. If you can't trust the data, if you haven't got that true visibility, if you haven't got that drill down, there is a true impact to the business, not only of the cost to the business, the double handling and the lack of efficiency, but the impact to the business takes you into not being able to drive your business insights. So let's look at some of what these business impacts can be. Organizations, if they can't trust the data, they don't know how to answer some of these core questions. How do I actually truly know the value of my customer? Who are my top customers? And it's not just the customers by revenue, but let's look at the RMAs, the returns, or the churn, or the cost of business. This information is pulled from various sources to come up with this one answer. Am I really getting the right shipments out the door? How quickly am I getting this information out the door? How am I communicating that to my customer? These are very simple questions that customers are asking all the time, and they're going to have to go to multiple sources to try and get to the truth of that answer. And what does my margins look like? What are the control of that? Am I being profitable? What does the product look like compared to my cost of the goods, the landed cost? Again, very simple questions that are complicated because we haven't got a cohesive visual insights from one solution set. What inventory select can I sell, particularly under COVID today? What inventory is on hand? How far back through my supply chain can I see? Do I need to increase my costs? How can I respond to my competitors? What do I need to expedite? If you've got a heavy reliance on spreadsheets, and if you don't know what the master data is and how it's integrated, if you've got multiple disparate systems, if you cannot easily see the visibility from one single source of the truth, the data might not be real time, then you will not have great insights and you'll have business blind spots. So thank you very much. I'd like to hand back to Jess to introduce your keynote speaker.
Thank you for that, Lisa. So today we're very excited. I hope everybody felt they got a good understanding of Fusion 5 and NetSuite for that. And like I mentioned, we're really excited to jump into a conversation with a customer, with Renee Jordan. Renee hails from Harcourts in Cooper. She was instrumental in leading the whole transition from their previous ERP platform through to NetSuite and dealing now with Fusion 5. She's come with multiple years of experience from South Africa into New Zealand. So Renee, thank you. Thank you so much for joining Fusion 5 and the NetSuite team today. But before we kick off, can you tell our viewers that have logged in for today just a little bit about yourself and your role at Harcourts?
Thank you, Jess, for the lovely introduction. Harcourts Cooper & Co. is the #1 franchise, Harcourts franchise in the world for 10 years running. And it's a full service real estate agency with around 450 team members across 16 offices on the North Shore of Auckland. I manage a very busy finance team for Cooper & Co., which handles, amongst the usual finance functions, everything around residential and commercial sales and business broking.
So today's webinar is all about discovering your business blind spots, specifically the visibility about one's operations and reporting. I'm sure our attendees today would love to know what specific blind spots did Harcourts experience in this regard before engaging with Fusion 5?
So as part of our strategy at Cooper & Co. of Better Never Stops, we regularly review our systems and processes. As change is always daunting, we held on as long as we could, but once Xero started to fail us, and due to our volumes, we had to find a workaround to buy us some time. Once we were no longer able to get GST returns off Xero and we had to create them manually, the writing really was on the wall for us. Xero advised us that our volumes were far exceeding the target market and that we needed to find another accounting software provider. One of our major blind spots was consolidated reporting. Due to the complex structure of our business, we were spending a large amount of time on consolidations each month. We really needed to find a more effective and streamlined process, as a significant time was required to produce these monthly management accounts, as well as every time management requested an extra report, we had to spend a huge amount of time on that. And really NetSuite has solved this challenge for us. In the past, where we've spent a significant amount of time reviewing and testing products and integrations with Xero, like Fathom and Spotlight, but really these weren't effective and didn't solve our challenges.
Wow. You mentioned, though, about the time that you got back for your team. That's an interesting one. Can you expand for us a bit more in terms of what that was, what that means, and what that actually meant for your business?
Well, in terms of our zero reporting, we were exporting 16 reports to make up our monthly management accounts and 8 reports to make up our consolidated financial accounts. And of course, we had to do eliminations and numerous pivot tables to produce these reports. So at the end of the day, the time saving that we've made by moving to NetSuite is working to about 3 days just to produce the reporting alone, because now it's all at the touch of a button for us.
3 days. Okay, that must have been amazing for your business to be able to save that for the team. And how did the business perceive that in terms of going back to the financial director or the C-suite to be able to say that you were able to recover 3 days back of productivity?
Oh, they were absolutely thrilled, and quite honestly, you know, they could see the value in the investment they've made into investing into NetSuite. So really happy all round.
Okay. Renee, what advice can you offer for other businesses that are possibly going through what Harcourt's experienced, especially when it comes to selecting a new ERP solutions provider?
So I would say spend enough time on the design, analyze what currently works for you and what doesn't work for you in your current software. I had a significantly detailed checklist that I went through with each provider, ensuring that I was satisfied with the response, especially around my non-negotiables and what I expect from an ERP. We were also very conscious that we were in a niche space where many of the ERP providers were not the right fit, as they either cater for businesses smaller or significantly larger than Cooper & Co. I did a significant amount of research. We spoke to Harcourt's group head office in Australia as they transitioned to NetSuite for their views, although their business is considerably different to ours, as well as interviewing, having our accountants liaise with their clients. And we reviewed other products like MYB Advanced, which we found to be the closest competition. I also recommend that you set enough time to do the training and to do testing. The more prepared you are, the easier the transition. And take time to review how your data exports from your current software. We were unable to export single trial balances by month with all our tracking levels, but found workarounds using Power Queries. Having never had exposure to Power Queries, we're thrilled to all be experts now. We also we wanted to replicate many of the processes as closely as possible, but we found that this was a really good time to look at our opportunities to think out of the box and do something different. But in the end, NetSuite was the right fit for us from a consolidation perspective, and that was the choice that we made.
Well, that's really great news for us. So last question, Renee. How do you think the role of the CFO or finance has evolved over time or changed when it comes to technology decisions specifically?
Well, I think from a finance point of view, we need to stand up for what we need and what we want. I'm very vocal in the business with regards to any systems, which, you know, in terms of tech systems that involve the finance department, making sure it fits all the criteria that we need. I personally love reporting and I like designing reports. So I found with NetSuite, the data was way more accessible, and having more time on my hands left me time to write funkier reports. And quite honestly, that speaks to me.
I like the use of funkier reports. It's not something you typically hear from a finance person. In terms of technology, though, because we hear a lot of evolution about finance and CFOs and, you know, how the whole technology era is moving. How creative or strategic or innovative do you think technology now enables you to be at a finance level?
Well, I think it allows us to be quite creative because, I mean, we're monitoring things. We're trying to monitor on a daily basis. But if our tech lets us down and we're reading the news rather than reading it as it happens, I think, you know, we're not actually doing the business justice whatsoever.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Renee. Those were really amazing insights and tips. Thank you for agreeing to be part of our conversations with the customer segment. For everyone listening, you can find Renee on LinkedIn at Renee Jordan. If there's no questions for Renee, we are going to let her get back to driving the business for Harcourt. Thank you, Renee, so much once again for joining us. And yeah, we look forward to seeing you again.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So now I would like to hand over to Antonio, who is going to kickstart the NetSuite demonstration for today. Antonio, over to you in 2 seconds.
Okay, so my name is Antonio Stanley. I'm one of the solution architects at Fusion 5. I've been working in the IT industry for a number of years now across multiple industries across New Zealand and Australia. So today what I'm going to go through is the quick review of NetSuite. I'm going to take on a role as a financial controller to help introduce to you the power of our platform and to explain how many of our customers in New Zealand and around the world have leveraged NetSuite to, first of all, increase their visibility into all their business areas and to help them complete key tasks to be more efficient by securing access to their data from anywhere, anytime. So one of the key business challenges, as has already been explained, is essentially around 2 areas. Number 1 is the lack of visibility into the operations that they have, and number 2, not having real-time data. So let me jump into the system and let me show you what we can do for you. So I'm logged into Google, and I'm just going to log into NetSuite. Now, as I earlier mentioned, I'm going to be logging in as a financial controller. Now, as a financial controller, it's very important to ensure that you've got key information at your fingertips every time you're walking in to ensure that you make key decisions. So what you can see here is that I'm logged in as Carol, the top there is Carol, and she is the financial controller. Now, what you can see here quite clearly is a dashboard that NetSuite has given to you, which has been pre-configured. Now, NetSuite has pre-configured roles and dashboards, which you can utilize from day one to help you get visibility of your business right from day one. So let's walk around the screen and just to show you some cool areas within NetSuite to help you. So on the left-hand side here, I've got reminders here. Now think of reminders as your to-do list that you need to complete on a daily basis. So you can see here, Carol has a couple purchase requests that she needs to approve. She's got some expenses and some journals to actually go through and approve. And all she needs to do to actually execute these tasks is actually just to drill in, open up the task, go into the task, and actually just click a couple of items and save, and those items were approved. Now, NetSuite is constantly telling you that you have tasks to complete. So this is automatic and updates you on a real-time basis throughout the day. So to ensure that you have key information being approved on a daily basis. What we also got here is some really neat KPIs. Once again, that is out of the box. But let's just change. What I'm going to do here is I'm part of a company that has multiple subsidiaries. So as you can see here, I've selected all my subsidiaries. So I've got one in Australia, New Zealand, Singapore, and the USA, and I've also got an elimination, and this will help with inter-entity transactions. So as you can see here, I've got some quick KPIs, quick insights on how my business is doing, and this is actually real time. So once again, I've got an overview. If I select a subsidiary such as Singapore, what you'll see here is the screen should actually update to give you real-time analysis for that entity. And so this is very important in these times whereby you're needing information quickly and efficiently. And the whole reason why NetSuite is able to provide this is that NetSuite is a unified platform right across all your businesses areas to ensure you get good key information. So what we got here is we got some cool little dashboards and portlets come down, we've got some portlets around customers just on the right hand side here, and you can see there it gives you very nice information. And we've got some little trend analysis as well. So as you can see, as I browse across my cursor around the certain screen, you can see the NetSuite gives you the information at that point in time and is actually exact. So it's very cool, very neat for businesses. What I'm going to do here now is actually run an income statement. And just to show you the power of having a unified platform. So what I've got here is an income statement, very simple, out of the box that NetSuite actually provides. What I want to do here, let's say I'm a financial controller, I can see here the expenses are very high in this case, and I want to query why is that very high. So quite simply, right from the dashboard into the report, I can actually drill down to the actual transactions. So here are all the transactions for my administration expenses. If I draw down, and let's say I want to query even further, I want to query this actual invoice here from Crown Equipment. So I'm just going to draw it into there. As you can see very quickly, under Unified Platform, I'm able to draw down. So here's actually my invoice. I've got all the information here about the invoice, the transaction number, my supplier, the amount, and also what was actually purchased. But what is very cool and very neat here is that I can see related records. So I can see here that this item here was part of a purchase order. So once again, I can draw down even further and actually open up that purchase order to see the particulars around that as well. So you can see very clearly, here's my purchase order, what was purchased, who was the employee that requested it, and I can see what was actually being purchased, essentially. So you can see very quickly the visibility that NetSuite provides you from the report, drilling down into the actual transaction, drilling down into the source document as well, and then drilling down to other parts of the system that may have generated that transaction. That's very neat and very, very powerful. So the other thing I want to show you here around our income statement is whereby you're able to report right across your subsidiaries. So here I'm looking at a consolidated report. So let's say I want to run a report for every single one of my entities. So let's say here, just by changing the reference and changing the parameters, what I've got here is appear now right across all of my entities, being Australia, New Zealand, Singapore, USA, and giving you a grand total. So you can see as a financial controller, Carol, she's got full visibility right across the organization from a single entity as well as the group as well. And what's also very neat and very cool is that I can break this down to the number of departments. And keep note here, this is all from looking at a single report where I'm able to slice and dice. So here you can see reports based on my departments, my administrator, IT, operation, and sales. And once again, I'll break this down into my accounting periods. So you can see it just from using one report, you're able to run a consolidated statement. You're able to run an income statement across your subsidiaries. You're able to run a statement across your departments and also right across the accounting period. Very, very cool. What's also very nice around NetSuite is the collaboration tools that you have. So to increase the visibility, you can actually schedule your reports. And for example, you may schedule a report to be issued out to a number of your colleagues for every Monday morning. So it's the first thing that pops up in the email. So that can be scheduled on a timely basis to increase the visibility and reduce those blind spots that we've been referring to. Reports can also be pushed out to Excel. They can be pushed out to PDF and to Word, and also to print as well. So very cool and very neat. So all the reports that NetSuite provides you are all out of the box. So you're able to utilize these reports from day one. But you also got the ability to actually customize those reports if required. The other thing I want to show you here very quickly, and this relates back to having a unified platform, is that we've got this really nice feature here called our global search. So let's say here we've got a scenario whereby a customer is giving me a call and there's an outstanding invoice that they want to follow up on. So let's say here we've got an invoice TZ 123. What you can see here, I can browse down straight down to that actual invoice itself. I can see the status of that invoice. I can see what the invoice is about. I can see if there's any files, such as the tax invoice. I can see if there's any related records from here. But what I think is really cool and really neat, and this talks about the blind spots and the visibility and the collaboration among the users, is that you're able to very quickly set tasks. So here I can set a task here, and I may set a task, please explain, and I want to essentially assign this to one of my AP officers. To actually look into this further, I'll make this as high. Please review and get back to me. Okay. So what that will do is actually, number one, send an email to Anne to note that she has a task. But what she will also get as well is on her home screen is that she will have a reminder there that saying that she has a task. So there you've got the increased visibility, reducing the blind spots and so forth to ensure that everyone is fully informed. What's also very neat around here, so we're obviously giving you the standard out-of-the-box roles, but it's very simple. Once you get trained, that you are able to change things around if you want to. What you're also able to do here is that you can add further KPIs and dashboards. So once again, a lot of standard dashboard KPIs that NetSuite actually gives you. So you can actually bring these across and remove items as you wish. Once again, all based on your security that you have within or around NetSuite itself. Okay, so hopefully what I've shown you here is that there's a single source of truth. All the information is all under a single platform. It's a unified platform that that's across all businesses, from your sales, financials, procurement, to manufacturing. I've shown you a glimpse on how you're able to drill down and to have some collaboration among your users. Also, hopefully I've shown you the visibility that's around NetSuite itself, whereby you're able to collaborate among your users. Yeah. So that's the end of my presentation. I'll hand this over to Jess.
Thank you for that, Antonio. That brings us to the end of today's webinar. We hope you found the presentation insightful and useful. I just want to do a quick recap. Like I mentioned earlier, there will be a poll survey coming your way. We'd appreciate your feedback. And we will be dropping you a video recording of today's webinar in about a week's time. Our next webinar will be on the 26th of August at 11 a.m. Auckland time. And it will be focusing around the technology industries. Once again, please follow us on LinkedIn at Fusion5 or visit us at our website, fusion5.co.nz or .com.au, where you could contact any of our sales executives for a demonstration again on NetSuite or just to download any of our material. Thank you, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day and stay safe, everyone.